New section content. Let us get one thing brutally straight, right out of the gate. Cruise lines have spent millions of dollars engineering the perfect psychological pressure cooker to make you feel like upgrading to a suite is either the smartest decision you will ever make or the most obvious sign that you have finally made it in life. Neither of those things is true, and the moment you walk onto that ship believing either one, you have already lost the negotiation. The dirty little secret hiding inside every glossy brochure and every suspiciously well-timed upgrade email sitting in your inbox is this. Suite pricing is not built around what the cabin is actually worth to you. It is built around what the cruise line has calculated you are emotionally willing to pay at your most excited and least rational. We are talking about markup structures that would make a luxury hotel blush, bundled perks that sound extraordinary until you realize you would never actually use half of them, and square footage comparisons that conveniently leave out the fact that you will spend roughly 80% of your waking hours nowhere near your cabin. So, if you are serious about making a genuinely intelligent decision here rather than an expensive one, it is time to stop letting the marketing do your thinking for you. Here's the brutal truth that cruise lines don't exactly plaster on their marketing brochures. Spending 7 to 14 days crammed into a space smaller than most people's home office is either completely fine or absolutely miserable, and the difference comes down entirely to which cabin you book. We're talking about the room where you'll sleep, get ready, decompress after a long day of excursions, and potentially hide from seasickness while praying for dry land. So yeah, this decision matters a whole lot more than most first-time cruisers realize when they're busy clicking the cheapest available option at checkout. The cruise industry has quietly mastered the art of making you think any cabin will do, and then watching you spend the next week regretting that decision somewhere in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. Stick around, because we're about to break down exactly what you get at every level, what's actually worth your money, and what is nothing more than an overpriced marketing gimmick dressed up in fancy cabin photography. So who does a standard cabin actually work well for? Honestly, quite a few people. If you are the type of traveler who treats your cabin like a place to sleep and shower while spending every waking hour at the pool, the restaurants, or exploring ports of call, a standard cabin makes complete sense. You are simply not in the room long enough for the size to matter. The same goes for budget-conscious travelers who would rather put that extra money toward shore excursions, specialty dining, or simply more cruises overall. And if you are brand new to cruising, a standard cabin is a perfectly reasonable way to test the waters before committing to a higher price point. Millions of cruisers choose standard cabins every single year and come home absolutely thrilled with their experience. Let's cut straight to it. If you are spending thousands of dollars and precious vacation days on a cruise, settling for a closet-sized cabin is not being budget smart, it is being comfort foolish. The cruise industry has been quietly selling the dream of ocean travel while conveniently tucking standard cabin realities into the fine print, and travelers over 60 deserve better than that. AMP Suite is not a luxury indulgence for the ultra-wealthy. It is the difference between surviving your vacation and actually living it. We are talking about waking up refreshed instead of stiff, having room to move without bumping into your travel partner every 5 minutes, and returning home feeling like the trip genuinely restored you rather than wore you down. So before you click book on whatever cabin happens to be cheapest, ask yourself one serious question. What is your comfort actually worth to you? Now let's talk about something that doesn't always make it into the glossy brochures, but matters enormously once you're actually on the ship: physical comfort. For travelers over 60, the design details of a suite can make a real difference day to day. Some suites feature wider doorways, which is a quiet but meaningful benefit for anyone using a cane, walker, or simply needing a little more ease of movement. Larger bathrooms often come equipped with grab bars, giving you added stability and confidence. More floor space means you're not constantly navigating around furniture in tight quarters. And on those long sea days when you want to genuinely rest and recharge, having a proper sofa, a spacious bedroom, and room to breathe means you arrive at each port feeling refreshed rather than restless and stiff. But the suite experience extends far beyond those four walls, and this is where things get really interesting for travelers over 60. Most cruise lines provide suite guests with a dedicated concierge team, meaning you have a real person handling your questions, reservations, and requests without ever waiting in a general guest services line. Priority boarding and disembarkation alone can save you hours of standing in crowded terminals, which is genuinely exhausting. Reserved seating in main theaters means no rushing ahead to claim spots before showtime. Many ships also feature private sun decks exclusively for suite guests, giving you a quieter, less crowded outdoor space to relax. When you're sailing on a ship carrying 3,000 to 5,000 passengers, having these dedicated spaces and services dramatically reduces the physical and mental fatigue that large ship environments can create. Let's be brutally honest. If you are still fighting for a table at the buffet while someone 3 decks up is having a private chef-prepared dinner delivered to their balcony, you are losing at cruising. Suite guests do not just eat better, they eat smarter. We are talking exclusive private restaurants that standard cabin passengers will never even glimpse, staffed by people who remember your dietary preferences before you even sit down. Want a full gourmet menu at 2 in the morning without leaving your room? That is not a fantasy. That is Tuesday night in a suite. Priority reservations at every specialty restaurant mean you are never refreshing a booking page at midnight hoping for a cancellation. For travelers over 60 who have genuinely earned the right to a slow, indulgent, completely unrushed meal, this single upgrade has the power to transform your entire voyage from forgettable to absolutely unforgettable. The question is not whether suite dining is worth it. The question is why you waited this long. Now let's talk about one of the most talked about suite perks that often surprises first-timers, the personal butler. Many suite categories across major cruise lines include a dedicated butler, assigned specifically to you throughout the entire voyage. We're not talking about a glorified room attendant. This is someone who can unpack and organize your luggage when you board, coordinate shore excursion bookings, bring a full breakfast to your balcony each morning, and fulfill special requests at almost any hour. Forgotten medication at a port, your butler handles it. Want afternoon tea delivered at a specific time? Done. For travelers over 60 who are looking for a genuinely relaxed, low-stress experience at sea, having this level of personalized, attentive support can honestly feel less like a luxury and more like an absolute necessity. Now let's talk real numbers, because this is where many travelers get sticker shock. Suite prices on cruise ships can range from 1.5 times to as much as 3 or 4 times the cost of a standard cabin. So what does that actually look like in your wallet? Let's use a sample 7-night Caribbean cruise as our example. AMP's standard interior or ocean view cabin might run you around $1,200 to $1,800 per person. AMP's balcony cabin could push that to $2,000. Now step into a suite, and you are potentially looking at $3,000 to $6,000 or more per person. For 2 travelers, that difference can easily reach $4,000 to $8,000 total. That is a significant number, and it deserves a serious, honest conversation before you click confirm on that booking. Now, here is where things get really interesting. That suite upgrade might show a sticker price difference of $2,000 to $5,000 more than your standard cabin, and yes, that number can feel like a gut punch at first glance. But before you close the tab, let's look at what is actually bundled into many suite packages. Specialty dining credits alone can be worth several $100s. Add in a drink package, which cruise lines typically price at $80 to $120 per person per day, and you are already closing the gap significantly. Throw in spa credits, priority services, and exclusive lounge access, and suddenly that intimidating price difference starts shrinking in a very real and meaningful way. The actual out-of-pocket difference is often much smaller than the headline number suggests. Now, here is something many cruisers overlook entirely. Your loyalty status could be your golden ticket to sweet living. Most major cruise lines, including Royal Caribbean, Norwegian and Celebrity, reward their elite and top-tier members with complimentary suite upgrades or deeply discounted suite rates. If you are a frequent cruiser over 60, chances are you have been accumulating loyalty points for years, possibly even decades. This is genuinely the perfect moment to finally cash in on those hard-earned benefits. Before you automatically book a standard cabin, log into your loyalty account and check exactly what perks your status unlocks. You might discover you qualify for a free upgrade, onboard credits, or priority suite selection. Those points sitting in your account are not just numbers. They represent real, tangible value, waiting to elevate your next voyage significantly. Now let's talk about something that deserves its own spotlight: the private balcony. Whether you're in a standard balcony cabin or a full suite, having that personal outdoor space can genuinely transform your entire cruise experience, especially for travelers over 60. There's something deeply restorative about stepping outside first thing in the morning, breathing in the ocean air, and watching the horizon slowly come alive with color. Imagine sipping your morning coffee as the sea stretches endlessly before you, completely undisturbed. No crowded pool deck, no noise, just you and the ocean. And in the evenings, watching the sun melt into the water from your own private space carries an emotional weight that's hard to put into words. For many older travelers, these quiet, personal moments become the most treasured memories of the entire voyage. So how do you actually make this decision? Start by thinking about the length of your cruise. On a 3 or 4 night sailing, a standard cabin is probably fine. But on a 10 or 14 night voyage, that extra space and those added comforts become far more meaningful. Next, honestly assess your health and mobility needs. If getting around a large ship is physically demanding, having suite amenities close at hand makes a real difference. Consider how much time you will actually spend in the cabin. If you are someone who loves relaxing on board between ports, a suite pays off more. Think about whether you are traveling solo or as a couple, since sharing a small space for 2 weeks is very different from sharing a suite. And finally, research your specific cruise line carefully, because suite perks vary enormously from one company to another. If you're still on the fence, there's a smart middle ground worth exploring. Premium cabin categories like mini-suites or club-class cabins offer many suite-like benefits, including larger living spaces, enhanced bathroom features, and access to certain priority services without the full suite price tag. These categories can be a genuinely satisfying compromise for travelers who want more comfort but aren't ready to commit to the highest tier. Additionally, timing your booking strategically can make a real difference. Booking early often unlocks promotional suite rates that cruise lines offer to fill premium inventory quickly, On the flip side, last-minute deals can sometimes include complimentary suite upgrades or deeply discounted cabin categories. Signing up for cruise line newsletters and working with a travel agent who specializes in cruises can help you catch these opportunities before they disappear. So here is the bottom line. For travelers over 60, a suite upgrade is often far more than just a splurge. It can be a genuine quality of life improvement that transforms a good cruise into an unforgettable one. The extra space, the personalized service, the exclusive dining, and the reduced physical stress of navigating a massive ship can all add up to something truly meaningful. If your budget allows and comfort is a real priority for you, the upgrade is very likely worth every dollar. But before you decide, take a moment to assess your own needs honestly. Do the math on those bundled perks. Think about how you actually cruise. Then make the choice that will make your voyage genuinely memorable. You have earned that kind of trip. Safe and wonderful travels.